part of the reason I wrote this book, Agnes, is because I'm so passionate about healthy communities. And I'm always asking myself, how can I give back?
Yeah.
I believe that's what has sustained our communities, you know, for generations. But there is how we can find a balance between the tradition and the modern times we are living in, so that we don't lose completely the past, but try to adapt it in the present. You know, so that we can set up our daughters for success. To be like, yes, you have the values I've instilled into you, but also there's some ambitions in the modern times that you should pursue.
I'm very passionate and curious to know more about Walk with Her. What is in this book, Walk with Her? Greetings, dear friends of Hanye Initiatives, and you're so much welcome to the Hanye space today in Conversations That Build. We are thrilled to be back to guarantee you that we love you, we care about you, and that's why we every time come back with new content because of your vibes and comments. Today, I have a special guest, a young lady. I know you guys are so used to seeing young men in this space, but today I have a young lady who is very passionate about authoring. Authoring includes building things, includes putting one block and adding another, and then you come up with something. And before we talk about what she has authored or what she has cooked, let me allow her to tell us about herself. You're welcome, my dear.
Thank you so much, Agnes, for having me. My name is Olivia Tusiime, but my friends call me Olivia. Just like Agnes said, I'm an author. I love writing and building things, writing for impact. Also in the communication world, been in the communication field for over 10 years. So I love words and how they connect us, and that's why I'm also passionate about, you know, writing for people.
Thank you. Wow. She said she's Oliver Tusiime. And I'm like, no, you girl, Oliver should be my age.
True.
She's Olivia.
I'm Olivia.
She's Olivia, and so much, you know, happy to welcome you to the Hanye space. Thank you for responding to our call. Our call includes, you know, wellness. We speak about spiritual wellness. We speak about social, emotional. We speak about physical wellness and financial wellness. And with that, guys, whoever will watch this conversation today, I encourage you to do financial wellness. We will tell you what financial wellness by this means. So, Olivia, today we are going to talk about your book, the very first one, which is Walk with Her. I'm very passionate and curious to know more about Walk with Her. What is in this book, Walk with Her?
Walk with Her.
Yes.
So Walk with Her is a parental guide. At first we had wrote it for the African parent, the busy African parent.
Yes.
So at the time, I remember it was somewhere in 2020 when my friend approached me, because she knew I was so passionate about girls and about their well-being. And at that time, I was running different support groups for girls. And then she was like, I think there is something we can collaborate on. There is this gap that I think girls today are struggling with, a parental gap. We are longing for a parental voice, for parental guidance. Our parents are busy, but also right now we find ourselves in the modern times, having been raised by traditional parents. And there is a crisis in, you know, how should we approach life currently? And then we find that we are struggling, you know, for guidance. And you can't be 20 and you're just calling your parent, because at this moment they expect you to know better. They think they invested their best in terms of education, but also informal, your informal upbringing. So you're like, what if we can do something, you know, to help the parent, but also to help daughters? And we're like, to make justice to whatever I want to do, let's get multiple voices in our communities. So we went around talking to different parents, Yeah, like the truth is sometimes we are hard on you because we don't understand. So you want to understand, like, why did you parent us the way you parented us?
Yeah.
Why did you make the choices you made? Why did you treat us the way you treated us? And then we put those voices in the book.
Yeah.
You know, to help the young adult female to know where their parent comes from.
Yeah.
That the reason I made the choices I made in how I raised you, it was because of ABC.
Yeah.
But then we're like, okay, we want to hear your story, but we also want you to hear from your daughter. Because these are not like intentional conversations we have in our African living rooms. We just sit on the dinner tables, have food, and everyone just rushes to their living room, to their sleeping room or wherever. So we never really sit in that space to ask questions that concern us. But also, Agnes, maybe because we don't know what to ask at, you know, at that age, we are still young. But now we're like, being that we have grown, there are things we would have wanted to know from our parents.
Yeah.
Let's tell the parents so they know. When your child is 5 years, this is what they're expecting of you. When I reached 13, this is what I'm expecting you would guide me on. These are the questions I have. I might not come directly to be like, Mom, I'm struggling with this.
Yeah.
But if at least you know that your child is likely experiencing that, you'll take the initiative as a parent.
That's
you know, to
right.
guide them and to be proactive in how you approach parenting. Yeah, so that was the whole instance. I'm hoping that because this book is written for the ages of between 0 to 25 years.
0 to 25.
Yeah, 0 to 25
Wow.
years.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it's full package.
It's full package of what a girl child is likely to experience.
Yeah.
You know, from 0 to 3, this is what is expected. But also we hear a voice of a parent just reminding their daughter, it's in this book.
Yeah.
Okay, when you are 0 to 3, this is how you behave. You know, so it's this conversation, a heart-to-heart conversation.
Yes.
Between a parent and their daughter that we hope if people engage with it, because it's really a practical book, that they can learn and can open conversations within our living spaces. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm feeling like now you're also beyond just telling the parents and the daughters, you're also helping. In this book, you're helping future mothers.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Like people in your generation, say people of 18, 19, upwards, who are intending to be mothers,
Yeah,
they will now know, or they will have a resource, a
True.
practical resource to be able to parent.
Yes, yes.
Maybe before we proceed, Olivia, I would like you to, like, who do you want to appreciate, especially on the journey of writing this book? I'm sure you have people that you would like to really say thank you for removing the eyes, for supporting you through their own words.
True.
Yeah, and moral support.
True, true. So I'll say like 2 names, and then the others I'll appreciate them as a whole. One of the people I want to appreciate is, I call her Mom Winnie Muhumuza, because when we were writing this book at that time, it got to a time where, you know, we weren't so sure, because my friend and I, we are not yet mothers. So like, we need a mother's voice.
Yeah.
And we knew that at that time, Mom Winnie Muhumuza was hosting her YouTube channel, you know, Parenting with Winnie. And the different like mothers we would approach, they would recommend that we talk to her. I remember reaching out to her, and she was very gracious, very welcoming. She took her time and read the book, and then even wrote for us, you know, the foreword. It's from her.
Nice.
So, like, yeah, and part of like what even keeps me giving my best to push for this book, it's because she believed so much in it. And she has like the experience and the know-how. And I remember her going, wow, this is such an amazing book. She started recommending it.
If it's anything to do with books, even if you've written the worst, Winnie will like, push you.
But the good thing, this was the best.
This is one of the best. And maybe I need to put my voice there for Winnie. Really, Winnie Muhumuza, wherever you are. We are so much appreciative of your work and the push you have towards young young women, young boys, and children in general. She's a parenting advocate or guru, I would say.
Yeah.
She's not old, but she has tasked herself to take care of, you know, those young souls.
Yeah.
And I personally also appreciate, you know, her part in helping us to mother better.
She's so amazing.
Yeah, maybe we need to tell people that she has a channel,
Yeah,
loud
yes.
and clear,
Yeah.
Parenting with Winnie.
True.
When, you know, we will tag it in this video in the description so people can also visit and, you know, have a taste of what we are talking about.
True.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Mom Winnie. I also thank my co-author, you know, for reaching out. Because I've always loved writing. And at that time I was writing for myself, writing my poems, writing my things.
So you do poems also?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So her like reaching out and having that faith in me, it really pushed me.
Yeah.
You know, but also opening she opened my eyes to my gifting, you know, to help girls, you know, to contribute to the well-being of my community, which is something I enjoy.
Wow.
So I thank her for that. Yeah, and just thanking all the people we're able to interview, because we talk to different parents, you know, fathers, mothers, they gave us their time.
Yeah.
The different ladies in our circles, different social classes, because we wanted to bring something that was balanced. Yeah, so everyone that gave us your time, you know, your names are written in this book. We see you and we appreciate you.
Wow. Thank you so much. And of course, all the appreciation goes to everybody that has already taken the time off to read this book. It's one thing to prepare a meal, but it's another to have people to feed that meal. And we really would like for you in the comment section to tell us, I mean, let's give feedback to our daughter, Olivia. Tell her, you know, how has the meal been? I mean, was it tasting delicious, or do we need to add some salt? You know, we really need that feedback so that the book can reach as many people as possible. You know, in my recent readings, I am very passionate about parenting also. And every time I look at a young girl, I'm a mother of boys, but when I look at girls, I'm like, where I come from, like I was parented, the way I was given is the way I'm intending to also give.
True.
But as you rightly said, the generations have changed. And that's why possibly, you know, the girls reached out to say, you know, we are facing difficulties. And I would like to hear from you, Olivia. What are some of the difficulties that possibly you could echo on that the people viewing Hanye Space could be on the lookout for, like to correct? What are some of the mistakes that you encountered during your research that parents should be keen to either remove or to improve in their parenting journey?
So one of the lessons I came across, or the gap that there was, is healthy conversations, you know, with our parents, intentional, healthy conversations. Because I remember, like, this lady we were talking to, and she was narrating, like, whenever, like, she would go to help her mom in the kitchen, and maybe she would spill water or make a mistake, her mom would just shout at her and be like, get out, you know, I need to work, I need to do this, and you're not helping, you know. So Agnes, imagine, how is that girl going to grow to raise their children? They're going to do the same, you know. And so we learned that healthy conversations are very, very important, of, you know, giving healthy feedback to your children. But then would understand, in a way, still I would understand the parent, and that's why this book is very important. That even the parent would come and be like, but that's how I was raised. For me, it was all about acting and meeting deadlines. So if I have my family and they're expecting dinner to be served at 7 p.m., I can't then have my child there, you know, taking their time, you know, with cutting onions just because they want to help mom. You know? So in this book, we noted that, because there was a parent that advised that their parents should set aside like teachable moments where they're like, okay, my daughter, right now I'm busy, I can't help you, because time is also necessary to manage time. But what about we meet tomorrow at this time, maybe 10 a.m. I'll have ample time to teach you on how you should wash that glass, on how you should peel that onion, you know, on how you should make that soup, you know, when we have ample time. Yeah, and then the other thing we noticed was during our teen years, you know, as girls, like your body just changes.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, sometimes without even knowing what's happening.
Of course, you don't know. You're just moving through stages.
True. And we're like, but if our mothers knew that these things were going to happen, why didn't they sit us down ahead of time? You know, to be like, okay, because most of us would realize that when at 12 or 13, you're set off to boarding school. Yeah. And that's the time maybe you get your period.
That's when the body is changing.
That's when your breasts are sprouting and all those things. And like, you're like, who do I talk to?
So the breasts are sprouting out, the periods are coming, and the environment has changed.
And your parent didn't prepare you for such crucial changes. Yeah. You know, so that was like a big lesson. Be like, this is not a taboo that we have these natural changes. So why is it hard for my parent, my mom especially, to sit me down, either the age of 11, and tell me, okay, in 1 year's time or in 2 years' time, you're likely to start experiencing this. So I want you to start, you know, packing these sanitary towels as you're going to school just to prepare. I want you to start keeping these brass clothes, you know, such things, so that you're not caught, you know, off guard. And then, to try and even remove all these myths around periods or whatever. Because some of us who got our periods in boarding school, later on you'd find that maybe if you are having like terrible cramps, people would go on tell you there is something you missed at the start. You know, there is something you would have done, but how do you expect me to know that? And if you didn't take time to talk to me and to prepare me accordingly. So that was something we came across, and like it was a lesson for us future mothers, but also to encourage, you know, the now mothers, that there are things we should start normalizing. There are
just
conversations.
open up.
We should start normalizing with our daughters, so that it even builds our self-love and it helps us to embrace who we are and embrace all these changes that you're likely to experience.
You don't start hating yourself. You're like, how can I get rid of, you know? Is there a possibility of not having the breasts or telling the periods not to come?
And then there is like this lady that told us about the relationship she had with her mom that wasn't as good. And yet she had a close relationship with the neighbor, a female neighbor. Because the first time she got her period, it's that female neighbor that was present. You know, because this is like a life-changing experience. And your mom is not there to talk that time with you. Of course, the first person you confide in and the first person you see available are the ones that you're likely to trust, you know? And you
in
build
a situation,
in a situation that's like life-changing. And you end up building a bond with them. And yet that might even affect your relationship with your mother as time progresses. Like, but my daughter, I'm doing everything for you. Why are you so close to the other person? Why aren't you confiding in?
There was a breaking point.
True. So it was like very crucial for parents, like to keep some marks, to know that at this age I have to try and be, you know, present for my child.
Wow. Very profound lessons there. But I want to also hear in the book, are there any positives? Like, did you have conversations with girls that were saying, you know what, I am so proud of my mother because she prepared me like this? What are some of those?
True. So we have those positive lessons, but would find that some of these lessons are tied to social classes. But today, I believe that today the modern parent, because, you know, the world is opening up, even those lessons that back then would be assigned to classes, right now your child can access them. Because there is this lady we're interviewing, and she had a lot about her mom, a lot of good things. And she was like, when I was like in my teenage years, her mom signed her for different language classes. So she's a multilingual, she speaks French, she speaks all these languages, excellent English.
Bonjour.
I know, bonjour. And you know, so currently she's competitive, and she was like, that's because of my mom.
Yeah.
You know, my mom pushed me. Like whenever there were like 10 camps, her mom would pack her bag and tell her, go with your friends, go explore, go find yourself.
Oh,
yeah.
I wish I was too much.
I
Okay.
know. So for her, like, she was
encouraging.
like, you know, she had so much to say about her mom that was very good and constructive. Back then, it was seen like a privilege to access such things. But today, like, you don't need to have a lot of money. It's just a matter of trust.
Yeah.
Because we have all these social groups around
Yeah.
that our children can be a part of. You know, we have all the schools that have different languages. You just have to be at the lookout.
Yeah.
To know, like, okay, actually, can I take my child to this school so she can learn different things, and that will give her an advantage in the future. Yeah, so there were all those beautiful lessons, and we're also happy to find that their daughters, actually young girls, that like the traditional approach that their mothers had towards parenting.
Yeah.
You know, those that were like, for me, I just love that my mom pushed me to go to church. You know, I just love that my mom insisted that I do chores, because today that's what is helping me.
Yeah.
I just love that my mom pushed me, because there is this mom who was like, for me, I used to tell my daughter when she was a teenager, around 17, I don't know what tomorrow has, but there are skills that are essential. So go for driving lessons, go do this and this, because you don't know what tomorrow has for you. So we had all those beautiful cases, and also like amazing lessons of fathers. You know, some girls were like just so passionate about their fathers. And this girl was like, when she experienced her first period, it's her dad that was present.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
It's her dad that was present.
There's that testimony here.
Yeah.
It's nice. So fathers will not feel like, oh, we only
fathers.
talked about, you know, mothers and daughters. So I think we should then thank them, the fathers that contributed, you know, especially in the lives of their daughters. Thank you so much. And please keep it up. Yeah.
So we have all those positives around. And still, Agnes, I think, personally, I don't like crucify our parents for how they raised us.
Of course.
I don't.
Of course.
Yeah, because I think our African traditions, they are so deep, they are so rooted. And I believe that's what has sustained our communities, you know, for generations. But there is how we can find a balance between the tradition and the modern times we are living in. So that we don't lose completely the past, but try to adapt it in the present. You know, so that we can set up our daughters for success. To be like, yes, you have the values I've instilled into you, but also there's some ambitions in the modern times that you should pursue.
Wow, so beautiful. I love to follow this lady, Priscilla Shira. And she also talks about the power of traditions, like blending tradition and the modern day and times. Because, friends, we have no way to run away from this, but we can try as much. I love traditions. Like, when I look at the modern day and times, I try to make like a flashback to do a recollection of what my mom told me that made sense to me, and what she told me or taught me that cannot definitely make sense in the modern day and times.
True.
I really appreciate the fact that the boys are also, I mean, the fathers have spoken. And I'm believing that, you know, the next book will now be Walk with Him.
Walk with Him.
True. I think we need to find someone who is passionate about walking with Him. So that we can also have, you know,
I agree.
Mothers, future mothers that are strong enough, who are supported, but also we have future fathers that are strong enough, are supported to make family. And of course, you said you can't crucify You
Of
can't
course.
crucify us or the people that come before us because, to be honest, you give what you got.
Of course.
Yeah, you give what you got. What my mother gave me, I'm using to parent my own.
True, true.
Yeah, however, we all have, I mean, you said we have different platforms.
Yeah.
Friends, even if you haven't received so much from your parents or your aunties or the caregivers, you can also be on the lookout for things like this book and other online resources
yeah.
to help you to parent better. Now, Olivia,
Yes, please.
thank you so much for walking us through this, a journey of this book. And I can't wait to do the reading. I haven't done the reading, but I can't wait to read because being a mother, I believe there's so much I can learn from here that will help me to parent, but also to give guidance to my fellow parents. How can we find this book? Where can we find this book? Yeah, in which bookshops or online sources?
Yeah, places. So currently the book is available on Amazon. Yeah. And
Nice.
yeah,
Okay.
we are doing our best to have it out in the bookshops around us, whether it's here in Chigali where we are,
Okay.
or even, just globally.
Okay.
So just encourage people to keep on the lookout. Yeah, those that can just get it on Amazon and read it will appreciate that. Yeah, but soon we'll be updating you on where you can get the hard copy of the books.
Nice, nice. But I think we can also give you a call, like
yes.
a
Oh,
direct
yes.
call. Maybe you
Yeah.
can tell the viewers the number, then whoever is interested in getting a hard copy from you, they can reach out to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. So you can reach me first on my email. I'm first with emails.
We will post the email.
Yeah, in the comments. letliveWrite@gmail.com. Or call me directly on my number, +250 783 168 164.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nice, nice, nice. What are the other projects in the pipeline? I feel like this was just the beginning.
Yeah.
And, it's the wise women and men say it always takes a lot of energy for you to start. But once you start, then you don't
It's not
stop.
going back, indeed.
Recently, I'm a student of entrepreneurship. And recently, one of my trainers said, when you have finally landed on a certain achievement, like you have written this book, like you shouldn't spend so much time in celebration mode.
Oh, yes. Yeah. True.
Celebrate, yes,
Yeah.
but
Look at the next.
True. What next? Yeah, so tell us about
True.
that.
Thank you so much. So part of the reason I wrote this book, Agnes, is because I'm so passionate about healthy communities. And I'm always asking myself, how can I give back?
Yeah.
And I got to know early on that one of my calling is connecting with people through words.
Yeah.
So from this book, I'm currently working on my book, I Can Hear You. And when I get a chance, I'll talk about that as well. So I Can Hear You, it's a book about verbal abuse, because I believe what makes human beings, it's the words spoken in our lives, the words we believe, these are the words that make us or break us. So I'm writing I Can Hear You, mainly speaking to teenagers.
Yeah.
At this time, even boys and girls, about the power of verbal abuse, because at that age, our children are learning a lot from school. Different people are speaking into their lives. So it's them to take back the power of their hearing, to know that, okay, there are words I have to listen to and believe.
Yeah.
Because they are constructive.
Yeah.
And the words I just have to hear and live there. Because at the end, when you grow up to be an adult, you'll find that what makes you, what forms you, what builds your self-esteem are the words you've believed along the way. So my next book that I'll be releasing soon, it's called I Can Hear You, and it's about verbal abuse.
Wow.
Yeah.
The power of words.
The power of words.
And we have a conversation already on the Hanye space that talks about the power of words. Like the words can either damage you or they can build you.
True.
So it's very important that people know.
Oh, yes. Words are so powerful.
Yeah. Some of us love to talk, to have healthy conversations. Other people prefer to have non-healthy
I
conversations.
know, right?
You know,
Yeah.
and every time they wake up, they just want to speak the negatives.
Oh, yes, yeah.
So the more the negatives, in terms of what you listen into, in terms of what you tell others,
Yeah.
the more it affects
Oh,
you
yes, yeah.
and the people that you're raising or taking care
True,
of.
true.
So it's very important that you're thinking about that,
Yeah.
and we will be excited to read
Thank you
about
so
it.
much.
Now, towards the end of our conversation today, Olivia, what are your next plans apart from, you know, I can hear you as a book? What are your next projects? You know,
Yeah.
the first one on the list is walk
Walk
with him.
her.
Walk with him.
I need a co-author, probably a man that's so passionate about boys.
Because I'm a mother of boys,
I know.
so
Who knows? We could collaborate. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
So next in the pipeline is I'm so passionate about storytelling.
Yeah.
You know, and currently I'm building a platform. It's called Igrori. It's about telling African stories.
Okay.
Not just stories, but to see how do I sustain our traditions? How do I play my part?
Nice.
You know, so we are currently building that platform where we'll be interacting with different Africans and bringing those stories to life.
Nice.
But also studying more of our cultures to understand the whys. I like to know why people do the things they do.
Exactly.
You know, all these things that seem irredeemable in our cultures. I think they are redeemable if we understand them.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I'll be going in that journey to learn more about our African cultures and how I can tell stories that can empower us and also give pride to the young Africans. Know that actually our elders weren't, you know, so far off. They they had reasons.
What do the young ones say? Like, Mom, you're acting so.
I know.
So what? So old, also traditional,
Yeah.
like, you know.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with the exact word. I'll get it maybe in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are building that and we appreciate any support, you know, people that love African storytelling and think we can collaborate on that, you know, to keep our cultures alive and our traditions alive. Yeah. Because the world is opening up and very fast. And you find that we don't have enough strength in the African voice, whether it's on online platforms or in different ways.
Yeah.
So it's easy for even people to sell us as Africans that everything we did was wrong, that everything we did was maybe demonic or what.
Yeah.
But a person having grown up in an African household, I know that there are many, many good things in our cultures, from how we are raised, and how we related with our neighbors, you know, the spirit of generosity, the community. There is a lot that even today the youth can learn from and pick from. Yeah.
That's true. And there's another wise man that said, if it is good, then it is worth preserving. And I really believe that whatever is good, we need to preserve. And nobody should tell us, you know, everything traditional African is bad. I think that is that's a myth that we should, you know, speak into. And it's also, I feel like you're speaking to that girl that is almost at the verge of saying, you know, working so hard or doing things like this is making me like not feel a full person. Therefore I need to change to become a boy. It's okay to remain soft and tender.
Oh, yes, I agree.
And it's also okay to be tender and work hard. Those two are not they're inseparable, or they are not separable. Let me say, it's okay to do some, you know, be a girl that is soft spoken, but you can still hard work. So I think this is also good.
True.
Because there is that myth also that tells girls, you know, for you to be seen in those boardrooms, in higher levels of ranking, then you have to
sacrifice
change
your
the way you're made to be,
know,
you know.
right?
Yeah, but there's one thing you can't
sad.
change. You can't change the physiological
You
milk,
can't,
the periods will come, the
True.
breasts will be out there unless you go for plastic surgery.
True.
But it's still called plastic surgery.
You know?
It's not natural surgery.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Olivia. Now, I would like you to tell the audience, what's your ask? Yeah, like that one thing that you would want the audience, the people that will watch this video, what is that one thing or two that you would want them to do in support of your project? It is such a beautiful project that I feel like, you know, it needs to be supported. But I would like you to tell the audience.
True.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Agnes. Yeah. So my ask is that you come alongside us, just like the book is called Walk with Her. Come and walk with me, and also walk with my co-author Annette. And you can do that by buying the book. The book, like I said, is available on Amazon, and in a few months it will be available in libraries and bookshops. So this book was written like for a community, for our communities. So it can be applied in schools, in churches, in every place where girls are, whether it's in support groups, even in your homes as you chat with your daughters. So please buy the book. And for those that have schools, please invite us, invite me. I'll be so honored to come and talk to your girls and also to share the book with them. So that's it, and we hope you'll read the book and even give us feedback.
Sure.
Because, you know, parenting is a lifelong calling. It does not stop after reading just one book. You'll find that there is a way we can, you know, build on it to keep meeting the future times.
Thank you so much. You just say that parenting is a journey. I feel like everything about life is a journey.
True.
There's no one like a one-off where you say, you know, I've read so much and now I've stopped reading. You keep reading from one book to another. Guys, we encourage you that after reading Walk with Her, you will be on the lookout for reading the next book, which is I Can Hear You. And then, you know, please give us your comments and tell us that you want to contribute on the African stories. There are some African stories that I really love so much. Some of those I partook of, some of them I've just read. And there are some other myths that we used to also have in society that made us. For example, they would tell us, you don't cut nails at night.
Oh, yes,
And we could not ask why.
Why,
But then as you grow up, then you realize that we grew up in in situations where we didn't have enough light. So there were high chances that if you cut your nails in the night, you're going to cut a piece of your finger. So they had to bring it out in a way, in a wise way, to make you not do it, so that you don't end up causing issues. But mothers, one of the tips that for me I would leave you with, and thank you, Olivia, for echoing on this, do not let your kids not to try. There's a story I have from my own house. At some point, one of my kids told me, Mom, you're making me wash cups and glasses. What if they cut me? Mom, you're telling me to cut an onion. What if the knife cuts me? And I said, you know what, darling, I love you so much and I care for you and I wouldn't want to see you bleeding. But it's okay. If you cut your finger, I'll take you to the doctor. And he's like, no.
You know?
I said, you know, if you don't do it, you will never learn to cut an onion. Now, you're not going to grow up as a man who is, you know, a parasite.
That's a deep word.
You don't want to bring up daughters and sons who are parasites.
You're right.
Parasites, in my woman's language, is that one thing that only sucks out of another and they never give. That is not something that we want to give to our children. Be it with the introduction of AI, the robots and stuff, you still have to do one or two things for yourself. I would like you to say bye to our viewers and we keep them on the alert, on the lookout for our next conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for watching. I hope through my sharing you are encouraged, and I hope that as you read this book, it will help your relationship with your child. I understand we live in busy times. Parents are so busy. You're doing your best to provide for your child.
Yeah.
So you might find there are some moments that you miss. So I hope that this book will help you to know what are those crucial moments that your daughter expects you to be available.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just want to thank all the parents that are doing their best to raise healthy daughters, you know, strong women. Thank you so much for investing in us and for loving us. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Olivia.
Thank you for
so much,
hosting
our
me.
viewers.
Yeah.
We encourage you to subscribe, to like and share. But as we said earlier, please give us your comments so that we can bring you better conversations which are geared towards building you to become a better version. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.